KMR, Kyle Mohan Racing. We're hanging out. Today we're doing a technical talk about our rear subframe. Check it out. We've got a Winters quick change with a modified Mazda OEM subframe done by Sikky Manufacturing with WiseFab 5-link suspension. Not to mention those really cool drive shaft shop, super strong Porsche style CV axles. Man, it's a sweet setup as I look at it. Oh, and we've got a Speedway Engineering rear sway bar on here. So lots of stuff going on. We're going to talk about it right now. KMR. All right, so checking it out, one of the coolest things about the rear end really is the aluminum case Winters 10-inch rear end. This allows us to not only run 1,000 horsepower through these cars and not have any type of rear end failure because they've strengthened the case. Sikky actually has done some work with them as well, so we've got this quick change, quick cover that eliminates some of the bolts or studs so we can actually do a gear change even faster. So essentially what we've done is put in a super strong rear end that allows us to do a gear change here in the back half. There's 2 gears, you pop the back panel off, pull those gears out, slap a new set in. You've done a rear end ratio change. We do it usually in 2 to 5 minutes. It's amazing. On top of that, running 1,000 horsepower through any rear end, regardless of whether it was a Winters or some other OEM manufacturer, I like the quick change ability because I run a rotary, so being able to change my gear ratios at different tracks so I can optimize my power band and gear ratios, I think is an advantage, as well as it being exceptionally strong since most Formula Drift competitors are running somewhere around 1,000 horsepower, clutch kicking. You've got to have a rear end that can handle the abuse, and you've got to have a way to optimize your power delivery, your power source, your power band. So, but that's not it. Just having the strong rear end doesn't necessarily mean you're safe. You could rip this rear end right out of the subframe if it was not properly reinforced. And Sikky's actually done a great job. I've done my own versions of this before, but since Sikky has these available, you can buy them. They're ready to go. I went that route on the Formula Drift car this time around. And just like I've done in the past, and I think a lot of people recommend, it's hung from the top with substantial usage of the OEM through bolts. So you're supporting not just a small area of the case, but a good amount of the case, so you don't lead to any twisting or cracking of not only the case of your quick change, but also your subframe itself. So this bracing and mounting is all part of the strength in the rear subframe that allows us to deliver that type of horsepower. It's also got a small brace that comes underneath the bottom that acts as a skid plate and a tie together. So very nice job, very well reinforced. We've got 3 years on this unit. We also added a Speedway Engineering rear sway bar to our configuration. With drifting, we have found that helps us adjust traction levels and get the most traction when we need it. Drive Shaft Shop did our rear axles. And these are based on the Porsche style CV joints, which are exceptionally strong and have good articulation, which is just a nice feature and in conjunction with what Winters is putting together. The WiseFab 5-link, super adjustable, super strong. It's great. If you follow me, you'll notice that I've bounced this thing off many walls, and it's performed fantastic. We do run a twin brake configuration on the back, so you can actually see here's our 2 mounts. They are aftermarket brackets onto the WiseFab rear hub, which I think is an advantage that WiseFab has already designed in the OEM and additional brake mounts in the back. Sikky did the solid rear subframes bushings, which are Formula Drift compliant, and are a very nice addition to any racing RX8. I think solidifying the RX8 rear subframe, whether or not it was a Winter Sikky combination or just an OEM subframe that's utilized in a performance application, it's a good idea getting those rubber OEM bushings out of there. So there you have it. KMR quick change rear end, Sikky subframe based off the OEM subframe, drive shaft shop custom axles, WiseFab 5-link rear suspension. We've got some WP Pro brakes on there. Winters, or sorry, no, that's a Speedway rear sway bar with some custom mounts. And we've got 3 years on this configuration. Bouncing off of walls, clutch kicks, heavy formula drift abuse. So all of the components right here. Nice job. Thanks for being a part of our car. Any questions, comment below. If anybody's looking for any of these components, feel free to message, DM. We can help get you set up through KMR. We can help get you set up through Mazda Tricks. Or we'll see you out at the track. You know what time it is? This isn't a rotary talk, but I mean, this is part of my rotary car, so I gotta brap on out of here. Do some work so I can afford to put this rear end back in the car. That's a nice rear end.